Hi everyone, welcome back to Storytime Recaps. In this video, I'm going to recap one of the film from 2015, Road Games. Without any further, let's get started. In the opening scene of the movie, a person is seen handling a body somewhere. The body was immediately chopped up and buried after that. Shortly later, the scene shifted to a man named Jack, who was waiting for a car to pick him up along the side of the road. It's a little odd to see a road sign warning people not to give rides on this road. It's unclear exactly what that means, but it's obvious that neither locals nor visitors ever give Jack a ride in any of the cars that pass on that road. Jack, alone himself, could only give up while repressing his feelings. Jack kept walking till he eventually came upon a man and a woman fighting. Right away after that, the man abandoned the two of them in the middle of the road. After more investigation, it is discovered that this woman is Veronica
Jack.
and speaks French as her first language.
It should have taken me a couple of days, but the lift...
However, she is capable and fluent in English, while Jack is from UK and unfortunately, he does not understand French at all and Jack was in France at that time. However, just as he was ready to return home, he was robbed by criminals in the middle of the road. As a result of the incident, he lost all of his money, a cell phone, and the attackers even robbed the car he was driving.
People are scared.
However, he is fortunate to still have his passport with him. In contrast, Veronica lives alone and intends to leave the country because she has no other family nearby. She revealed to Jack that she lost both of her parents to a long-term illness. As night fell, they decided to spend some time in the woods, and while warming up, Veronica told Jack that she had been practicing signing signatures lately. In the morning when Jack awoke, he saw that Veronica had left his side. That woman was actually taking a lake bath. The moment Jack witnessed that, he also dove into the lake. They took a romantic bath in the lake and continuing their journey by walking around the area and the highways. Unexpectedly, just as they've given up on the matter, they find a car that offers to give them a ride. But Veronica didn't appear to be happy at all, and she started to fear the man who was supposed to assist them. By the way, this man is Grizzard. He is a local native and struggles with his English. He consequently made the decision to have Jack and Veronica stay at his place first so they could meet his wife, who had previously resided in England. Jack is unable to decline the invitation, so they head straight to the man's home. After that, Veronica and Jack arrived, and the Grizzard wife, Mary, welcomed them right away. From there, Jack was sent into his bedroom by Mary, while Veronica was sent by Grizzard to her bedroom. As soon as Mary left him alone in the room, Jack, who was already exhausted, instantly lay down on the bed and fell asleep. When Jack got up, it was already getting dark. Then he was curious about a box that had Grizzard written on it. Upon opening the box, a number of old photos of Grizzard and Mary were discovered. Not only that, but the box also has a picture of a boy and a girl. Based on what he had observed, Jack was certain that Grizzard and Mary were not alone in this house. Despite this, Jack and Veronica have not noticed a girl or a boy in the house. After supper, Jack deliberately went up to Veronica, who was smoking on the house's terrace. In order to get closer, Veronica also informed him that she had a brother in the past, but that he was tragically killed by a tractor while they were playing hide and seek in a field. Jack then went back inside to watch TV with Grizzard that evening. At that point, Jack said that he had to leave Grizzard house as soon as possible because he had to go back to England to meet his family.
Don't worry.
Veronica also intends to move abroad and live there for the rest of her life. Shortly after, Jack inquired about Grizzard children, to which Grizzard oddly replied that he had none at all. The picture that Jack had seen in his room earlier then makes him question whose child it is. Naturally taken aback by Grizzard's statement, Jack chose to ignore it and immediately fell asleep. The next morning, Jack showered before departing from Grizzard's house. However, aside from the oddly quiet atmosphere in the house that morning, Veronica was also absent. Just when Jack started to overthink, Grizzard suddenly appeared while holding a hammer. Then, Grizzard explained that Veronica had departed earlier that morning and that she didn't feel comfortable waking Jack awake. From what Grizzard said, Jack became more suspicious of Grizzard's actions instead, even though Grizzard admitted that he had just finished repairing the cupboard door. Ultimately, Jack started to believe strange statements after reading a note that Veronica had written before she left the house. Jack was distressed after reading the letter, and he suddenly realized something was off there. More specifically, he had seen Veronica's autographs when they were stuck on the side of the road, but they did not match. But regrettably, Jack was ready to recognize the oddity when he was abruptly attacked till he passed out. He had already been transferred to a pickup truck, which we had also seen at the start of the movie. When he woke up, it turns out that a middle-aged man named Delacroix purposefully bound Jack and abducted him. Jack understood right away that he was already in a psychopath's lair. Furthermore, it turned out that all of the threats that Delacroix made to Jack were merely bluster. He also failed to give him with more details, and even handed him a plate of food. He only took this action to prevent Jack from fighting him right now. The rope on Jack's hand was then released, and Delacroix then used a camera to take a picture of him. After that, Delacroix then placed duct tape in his mouth and carried him back into the pickup truck. Moreover, Delacroix planned to use a syringe he had prepared to put him to sleep. Jack was ready to receive an injection when, fortunately, Delacroix's thoughts strayed to the stove, which was still blazing and smoking. From there, Jack made an instant effort to get away as fast as he could and moved as far away from man target as he could. After walking a long distance, Jack finally returned to the Grizzard mansion. He then noticed Mary and Grizzard once more, preparing to leave the house.
And then what? You think it's...
After the two of them left, Jack rushed right inside the home to find Veronica. Then it turned out that Veronica was imprisoned in one of the rooms, but Jack immediately released her without further ado. Unexpectedly, at that moment Grizzard and Mary had returned to the house. Fortunately, both of them were able to flee the house. Nevertheless, Mary and Grizzard recognized their escape and began to panic. Ultimately, they were unable to flee because they were only running, as opposed to Mary and Grizzard, who were pursuing them in their vehicle. Consequently, Jack and Veronica are left with no other option except to confront Mary and Grizzard. Still not giving up, Veronica hurriedly took Jack to a cabin to escape. They then made the decision to hide in that cabin. But to their surprise, it was actually Delacroix's cabin, and he had already reached it. However, when Veronica appeared in front of him, Delacroix became perplexed. Jack threatened Delacroix with a shotgun at that very moment, but he slipped and got caught in a sharp iron. Although it's unclear what Veronica had planned there, it's obvious that she used a tarp to conceal Jack. Furthermore, Veronica continued to be dissatisfied with Delacroix's death, so she stabbed him in the chest. After that, Grizzard and Mary entered the cabin. Grizzard then immediately spoke in French with Veronica. In French, Veronica referred to him as Dad. As a matter of fact, he can still picture Veronica in her childhood form. Put another way, both Veronica and Grizzard had been lying to Jack the entire time. Grizzard had told Jack that he didn't have a child even though Veronica was his daughter. It was now discovered that Veronica was a serial killer who could murder anyone for no apparent cause. Additionally, Veronica had ruthlessly killed and disfigured her younger brother after they had just completed playing hide and seek. For this reason, we see a body victim and the perpetrator at the start of the movie, who happens to be Veronica. But unfortunately, since Jack had gone mad with the situation, he no longer wanted to listen to Mary and Grizzard's explanation, which is in fact their Veronica's parents. Sadly, Mary, who only wanted to communicate with Jack in English, was attacked by Veronica right away till she passed out. Only Grizzard was left at that point. He was unable to do anything else at the time, had no other option, and could only give up after Veronica and Jack had abandoned him.
What did you say?
Before the movie's the end, Veronica took Jack away from the country with a happy smile on her face, while Jack himself felt the same way. At the time, Jack was still unaware that the woman would also kill him. Thanks for watching, and remember to turn on your notifications to watch more movie recaps like this one.